We've got to do something. We've got to be able to house our children.
That's when we need a common sense party. You're absolutely right.
And this is the extremes that we've been, the extreme right and the extreme left are not the answer to this, what the country's needs at the moment.
What's happening here is there was a period of time when people did not own their own houses, by and large. That then, house ownership was really increased, and Margaret Thatcher, she looked for everyone to get their own house, okay? Take a bit of responsibility, perhaps. Maybe that was a bit behind her thinking, okay? But we're now reaching a stage where, and I fully take on board the fact that youngsters, how can they afford a £200,000, £300 a man mortgage? I would find that absolutely outrageously frightening. Now, but what's going to happen is, it will go round again. Everyone's renting, which is just the same as it happened decades ago. And then give it another 30, 40 years and it will come round again. It is just a big cycle.
But you see, I remember it so well when council houses were there. And council houses, mum and dad, and they had a 3-4-bedroom council house, 3-bedroom council house, for instance. Nice house, and they had youngsters. And then the youngsters grew up and they didn't move out of the house. They paid, rent and things like that. So the actual spending power of those people that lived in that council house was tremendously more greater than people who were struggling buying their own house, and there's something not right in that, because the country is subsidising those people to live well because of a circumstance, and it's this business of struggling to buy houses and all the rest of it. I mean, you look at kids nowadays. I mean, I see a 19, 20-year-old kid, earning £35,000 a year. I never earned that in my life. They can't afford to buy a house.
No, also, on that point, and this goes down to a bit of personal responsibility as well, and maybe it's a question for all you guys. Would you buy a t-shirt for 80 quid? Would you buy a pair of trainers for 120 quid?
Well, not
bat an eyelid. I personally, I wouldn't because I'm tight or whatever. I cannot see the value in spending 120 quid on some footwear just because it's got a popular brand on it. That to me is a massive waste of money, and then people say, well, I haven't got any money. I've spent my wages already. I've seen 6 pair of trainers.
I've seen youngsters in pubs, on a Friday night when I go out with my 2 mates. So we're 3 pints, or for 3 rounds of drinks, and it costs about 12 quid or something, £10.50 for the round, immaterial. I've seen youngsters go in there, and because they've been in with say 10 or 15 of them, and these lads have bought a round of drinks, and they've parted with 30 or 40 quid. Now, I'm not saying, all right, they'll never get it back, but, where do they get that sort of money from? I've never had that.
I'll tell you where they get that sort of money from, because they're still living at home with their parents, because they can't afford to buy a house, so they've got quite a large disposable income.
And their parents let them live rent-free, which I don't think they should.
Well, or at a very, very, reduced cost in terms of, but, it stems from the fact that if that youngster wants to go and buy a house, buying an expensive t-shirt is irrelevant. They simply could, if somebody wants to buy a house like yours, where are they going to get a £300,000 mortgage? How much money do you actually need to earn to get a £300,000 mortgage? I tell you, 35 grand ain't going to cut it.
No, that's fair comment, but part of this point is about spending money that you don't need to. Before I got married, 1978, we had to suddenly get £1,000 deposit, and I'm pretty near Mike here, and the first house we bought was £12,260, semi-detached house, Stony Stratford, and we had an £11,260 mortgage, just for the record, and the mortgage was £97.81 per month. My wages at British Railways were 30 quid. That was my take-home pay as an electrician. Now, we had to save. We scrimped. We didn't go out. We didn't do all the sort of things you do as a young couple or a young bloke or whatever. And all I'm saying is, someone could buy a pair of trainers for 20 quid and stick 100 quid in the bank.
That's it, exactly.
And you put the money aside.
You don't do that very much, do you? You've got a deposit.
Yeah, I fully accept though, in this day and age, okay, it was £1,000, it was 10%, just under 10% of the deposit. And for someone to get a £30,000 deposit at their 10%, that takes a bit of doing, but it can be done. And if people are on 35,000 at that age, right, I cannot really see the problem. And who is paying their phone bills at home? Are they paying it, or on the bank of mum and dad paying their £40, £50 a month?
I think the mum and dad, the bank of mum and dad, are doing too much. But there we go. It's 10 minutes away from 10 o'clock. We've really got not a lot of time left for very much more. But apparently Crime Watch is going to go on television.
Right, could I just come back on the mortgage thing for a moment?
Yeah, go on.
I'm just on a mortgage calculation site, and if you want a £300,000 mortgage, your monthly repayments will be £1,800 a month.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So if you think of a £30,000 salary, you're not going to be able to get anywhere near close to that. So what I'm saying is, it is impossible. It's very well putting a fiver away. It's not even going to make a dent in it.
Okay, let's consider that then. Okay, 600 quid a week, 30 grand a year, 3 times what your wages are.
Yeah.
Okay, I was getting £30 a week at British Railways. £97.81 was what I was paying for the mortgage.
Now, how much were you in a month?
120.
And what was your mortgage?
£97.81.
There you go.
There you go.
That's it. But you probably like me. You ran an old banger.
I did. Yeah.
And if you were lucky,
I used to get flat batteries regularly.
Yeah. You spend all your time trying to keep the thing going so you could go to work on a Monday on it. Holidays. Well, if you had relatives or whatever, sometimes you were lucky.
3-day honeymoon.
Well,
Stratford-upon-Avon.
I had a 2-day honeymoon in Brighton.
Oh, I had 4.
And but there you go. So anyway, Dave's in this morning, and but there's no Charlotte, Dave. So
No Charlotte today.
She's left him.
She's what?
She's otherwise engaged.
Oh well, that's right. I'm glad she's engaged. So that's good. So there we go.
When you get married, then?
Congratulations. Good show. So there we are. Right. Okay. Well, thank you very much, Alan, for that mortgage thing.
I just looked a little bit further, and basically, with other commitments, if you're paying mortgage repayments and household rates, right, on a £300,000 house, right, you will be paying out just your standing charges, not counting electricity and gas and everything else, but just your rent and rates. You will be paying out probably £2,500 a month on your basic. Now, I don't know how many people in Milton Keynes earn enough to be able to pay £2,500 a month, which means that I don't know any youngsters in Milton Keynes that earn £2,500 a month, quite frankly. The vast majority do not. And Mike, no disrespect to your house, but it's a fairly modest house. It's not a grand palace or anything. It's a fairly modest family home. So if you're a young man in Milton Keynes and you want to have a small family, a couple of children, there is no way on this earth that you could buy something like Mike's house on even the most really a very good salary. You have to be earning £50,000 to £60,000 a year to be able to actually buy that house, and there are very few people under the age of 25 that earn that sort of money.
Let's just bring it back to proportions a little bit, because yes, you're absolutely.
Well, that's exactly what I'm trying to do, Mike. I'm saying proportionately, the vast majority of people could not possibly, unless they had a lot of input from their parents or something, couldn't buy your house.
You don't. Yes, mine is a modest standard 3-bedroom semi-detached house.
It's £300 grand it's about the going rate.
But if I was going to get married today and I had no children, I wouldn't go for a 3-bedroom semi-detached house. I would go for a flat.
And I have children first.
I could pick up a flat, for probably £150,000-160,000 a year, and I would move into that. And then as I got promotion at work and things like that, and maybe I had a child, so I'd have to have another house. So I would proportionately go up. Rather than just.
You're saying that they want everything straight off. Big house, full of all the latest.
We just said we're not talking about Mike's house. I've been to Mike's house. It's a lovely house, but it's still enough for a husband and wife and a small kid, and maybe one on the way. That's the perfect house to buy.
Yeah, but a lot of youngsters today want something more grand, don't they?
What? You mean they actually might want a house with a garden for their child?
No,
it's asking a lot, isn't it?
What I'm saying is that you don't start. When I made the mistake in my life, when I went with the mortgage rates, the mortgage rates went up to 15%, and then when they came down again, I continued to pay that 15% mortgage, which reduced my 25 years down to 17 years. But the big mistake I made was never moving house, because I got to a financial stage through progression in work and into management and that sort of thing, where I could have afforded to sell my house and buy a 3-bedroom detached house or a 4-bedroom detached house, But for reasons unbeknown to me, but my wife said I'm not moving, so we didn't move, and all right, so we end up in our 3-bedroom semi-detached house, which we don't need anymore than that, So, and unfortunately, I've got to say that we have got to say goodbye, because time.
I was enjoying myself, Mike.
We'll enjoy ourselves again next week,
So. Let's take Dave off it and continue.
All right.
Yeah. Well, let's steal Dave's.
I'll tell you what. We'll
steal his program. We could tie him up.
We could tie him up, couldn't we? We'll just leave him to it.
Charlotte would come running in on a horse, though. She'd arrive on a horse with a sword and rescue him.
So from me, Mike Barry.
Me, Bob Bluffield.
Me, Kev Slaymaker.
Me, Alan Mallyon.
We are
Grumpy Old Men.